Bonsoir guys, hope everybody's well. We have got a lot to discuss. Right, so as you can see in the background, there's usually cars hanging and stuff going on and things like that. Big sort out, big changes. A lot of people follow me on Facebook and I've had a lot of people say, is something wrong? Nope, nothing's wrong. I still love my mini racing, don't intend on giving it up at all. But across a 4-year period from starting as a complete novice, I must have had 6 or 7 cars now, of which I've had at least 4 or 5 that I've sort of kept, and it's been time for a really good tidy and sort out. I've been bringing so much equipment to the track for these tiny little minis that we just don't need, you know, a spare chassis, a spare car. If my car breaks, I can put the receiver and stuff straight into this second car, so at least I don't lose the night. And to be honest, it's a bit overkill. It's probably over prepared. It's just enabled me to acquire a massive gear that somebody else now has the pleasure of sifting through, organising, and hopefully being quite successful with. It's all good stuff. So that's why the sale and the downsize and a bit of scaling back. Also, in all honesty, there's something else missing from up there that is now here. And we are going to go boogie racing. Now, truly, this is a step into the huge world of boogie racing and a massive jump into the world of the unknown. But what I'm going to do is go through my thought process here and how the next video series is going to go. So what we have here is I've been fortunate enough in a deal about 18 months ago now. I've managed to pick up this and this, and a big box of spares and parts. So they are both to Team Associated. I believe they'd be 6 or a 6.1 if there is a 6.1. So they're both quite old cars, and that's probably why I got them so cheap. But they did come with all the electronics, ESCs and everything like that inside. However, and I also got quite a big box of spares and stuff like that. So my plan is not the next week will be kind of my first ever race with it at M&B Models. That's not strictly true. I raced 2 weeks ago at M&B as my first ever event, but it was more to turn up and sort of scratch my head, work out what I was supposed to do, see what was organised on the night. So if I turn up when I next turn up, I'll have a bit of a better idea of what's going on. So the next event, which is this coming Wednesday, is kind of it's not a championship night. It's just racing for the hell of racing, really. It's just going to be a giggle racing, and there's nothing really on the line other than a bit of pride, and it's an opportunity for them to have sorted out who's won the previous championship and organised prize giving and things like that, because it's took a bit of time to get stuff printed, but from what I understand. Then there's going to be a break, and I believe the new championship starts in September. Don't quote me for the dates. I'll post a link for the M&B Models Facebook page in the description below, so come and find it and check it out and have a look at the information yourself. I think that championship will run up until Christmas. My plan is to do as many of those events as I can. Don't really know the format of it. I assume there'll be X number and X number count towards championship places. Maybe you have to do all of them. Maybe you only have to do 5 or 6. I don't know. I don't know. Read the information below. But my big concern with boogie racing is it's a huge, expensive world that I might have just stepped into. For example, the night that I went and just sort of had a recce and made sure the cars worked, a couple of racers, big shout out to Aaron and Daryl, who without them I wouldn't have made the start line, because they immediately took me up to the shop and had me buying new tyres, which I'm used to £7 for a set for 2 tyres delivered to your house. These 2 rear tyres, I think they were 23 quid, £22, certainly in the 20s of pounds for tyres. I'm hoping they're going to last at least 2 or 3 races, 2 or 3 nights at that sort of money, but that does put pressure on the fact that I want to do this not as expensively as possible. I mean, I'm going to keep a tally of exactly what I spend for the racing that I do, including the race night, the entry fee, everything. So far, all in, I'm 200. Sorry, that's not true. I'm £200 for the initial setup. The price of the radio gear, I run one of these 3PV Futaba things, which is transferred straight over from the Mini, so there's not really an additional cost there. So I'm not going to quote that, because if you're starting, that could be a minefield in itself. You could pay £1,000 or 40 quid for a radio gear. I guess it's up to you and your budget. So to start with, all in, I'm £200 plus £20 worth of tyres. I think there was 7 or 8 quid for some Velcro tape. And I can't remember if I got given some front tyres or if I've paid for them. Post a link, Aaron. Did you give me those tyres? Did I get those tyres? I can't remember. Anyway, I may owe Aaron 15-20 quid for some front tyres as well. So all in, I'm about £250 in, and I want to see whether or not I can progress, see how far I can progress and how much it's going to cost. There are purchases that I've got to make. So there's the inside of the buggy, and when everybody was crawling over it, because I know me Mini racing, but this is a whole new world to me, and everybody's walking around going like this with things and asking me what weight oil is in it, and I'm looking very blankly and saying, oil? What oil? And one of the lads pointed out that yes, that one of the shocks didn't have oil in anyway, so I hastily ripped the shocks off these B car and put them onto the A car, so at least I had shocks with oil in. And it was a case of, right, so what sort of oil do I need? So I've placed an order in with that, so I'll update the prices and show where we're at budget wise. I'd like this not to become too expensive. If it does, then I guess this won't be a hobby that we're pursuing much, but there's an awful lot of flexibility with these cars. For example, at M&B models where we're running, obviously it's an indoor, it's a carpet track, very high grip, very consistent. The standard of racing there is well and truly up there. But my local club is Bury Metro. They have an outdoor AstroTurf track. I was hoping to get myself organised to get a couple of races in before the end of the outdoor season, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to through work commitments and things. We'll see. But it's then a case of just lifting the ride height and hopefully throwing that down on the track and seeing how I get on. I'm not under any illusion that I'm going to be challenging somebody for the A spots and things like that. I'm more than happy to go around, as long as it goes around without falling on its roof all the time or being upside down. Then I'm having a good race based on what little race I had last week. So much is going on with these things that there's just too much to talk about. That's already, my head is a complete mush of information so far. So that's the immediate future for Bren's RC Racing. I want to do loads more with the buggy. We'll try to do a bit of a follow along series, as I have done with the Mini. I'll show you what I've done during the week to upgrade, tune, tweak, make worse, and then we'll take you on a race night and show you some racing. And when the new Mini arrives, I'll let you know what that Mini is and what we're doing with it. Thanks as always for tuning in, guys. No real race footage tonight. I've tried to download a bit of footage that somebody filmed for me, but I wasn't kind of filming on that night. So I'll pop that in at the end, and you can see what sort of disaster I were having. Right, guys. Thanks as always for watching, and toodle pip.
From Newcastle, when I worked at Newcastle, and I got my first race, and we got to go to the I went to Bolton.